X Men, the from the year 2000, is the first movie in the X Men franchise, and this movie, along with Spider Man, 2 years later, not Scott not go 2 years later, it came out 2 years later in 2002. These are the movies that are credited with reviving the superhero genre in terms of movies. Because after Batman and Robin flop, like one of the worst superhero movies ever, the they Hollywood seem to be losing interest in making superhero stuff. Oh, and well, Blade came out in 1998. I think that was a year after Batman and Robin, and that was a big hit. And it was rated R. It made like 100 million, just like a low budget. But that didn't revitalize the superhero genre. But this did because it was like PG-13. It was, well, more people could go see it. It was for teenagers and kids, and a lot of kids grew up with the '90s X-Men animated series. I wouldn't say that I grew up with it, but I did like catch a few episodes because my stepdad was a fan of it, and he would watch it occasionally, and I would watch it with him. And I became a fan of X-Men through watching it, and I was especially Wolverine. I love Wolverine. I like how he uses his claws like because I was into like swashbuckling sword fighting movies, and he could like, use his claws basically in sword fights. And I like Cyclops, the guy who like shoots lasers from his eyes, and Storm, the black lady who's has the ability to conjure up lightning, and Professor Xavier. I didn't think much of him because he can't do much because in a wheelchair. I know he can like uses like telepathic powers, but the way he's portrayed in the movies made me more interested in him. And in the movie, it's like everyone is prejudiced against mutants. A senator named Senator Kelly wants to start this like mutant registration act where if you're born a mutant, you have to register as one. And it's like political themes of segregation and civil rights. Because these comics, I think they came out during the civil rights movement, and they're like an anti-racism, anti-bigotry message. You don't judge people because they're different than you, which I like that message. And the the action in these movies pretty cool. Well, it's nowhere near as good as the action scenes in X2 or any of the following X-Men movies. Or the X-Men Dark Phoenix, that is lame action scenes. Not all the X-Men movies are good action. But I'll get to it when I review those. The plot of the story, there's Senator Kelly is kidnapped, and Magneto is this like mutant who's use control metal stuff, and he kidnaps the senator. Like uses this machine he made to turn regular people into mutants. It turns him into a mutant, and he's like this melting blob thing. He goes to Xavier, and Xavier examines him, and he tells him a Magneto's plan before he dies. And then Magneto, he kidnaps Rogue so she can absorb like people, other mutants' powers and energy. So he uses her as a sacrificial lamb on this machine because if he uses it, he'll die. So he wants to use the machine to turn all these like world leaders, like kings, presidents, prime ministers, whatnot, into mutants. So we can take over the world. And the his hideout is inside the Statue of Liberty on Ellis Island. And I like the final, like the attack on Ellis Island with the battle between Wolverine and Mystique. And I like Mystique how she can like shapeshift into different people to disguise herself. And she shapeshifts into Wolverines during the fight with him, and they have this like battle. And like and they when Cyclops fixes and shoot, they're both like, wait. And then when after Wolverine defeats her, he runs to Cyclops again, and he says, Wolverine says, hey, it's really me. Prove it. You're dead. Okay. Well, like how the way they defeat Magneto in the end, and the the story's very short. It's like an hour and 40 something minutes, but without the credits, it's like 90 something minutes, I guess. And that's good because not every action movie, especially not every superhero movie, has to be like 2.5 hours long. And it's just like a pilot, TV series pilot. This is a pilot for a movie series. And it starts off the series pretty good. And the performances are great. The cinematography, the direction by Brian Singer was great. I know he's a creep in real life, but he did do a good job directing this and X Men 2. And the, mm, the okay. And I also like Taylor Maine as Sabretooth. And although I prefer like Leaf Schreider, who plays him in X Men Origins, he does a better job as Sabretooth than Taylor Maine did. And the I like this Mexican standoff type scene where Ma- Magneto's trying to escape, and these cops have their guns out, and he uses powers to disarm them and try to shoot them, and Xavier like uses powers to like get inside Sabretooth's head and like make him choke Magneto to get him to stop that. And this is a big Mexican standoff between them, which I really like, and it's a very suspenseful scene. And the visuals are okay for their time. I know it's like early 2000s and CGI, not as good as well. CGI today is kind of sucks, and the CGI visuals in this are way better, in my opinion. And and the action's cool. Like I said, yeah, this is a good start of the series. And I like the final scene between Xavier and Magneto when they give each other like this warning, like "I'll always be waiting, old friend." And they're playing chess together. It's a good way to end the story. I give this two thumbs up. That's my review. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.